Welcome to Hardheaded Podcast. We're excited that you've joined us as we have a conversation. We found that a good conversation allows us to share what's on our mind, whether current events, what's grinding our gears, or our pet peeves.
It also allows us to share our top 3, a list of our favorite things on any given subject, most of which are highly opinionated. In closing, we share a good word. Solid friendships are encouraging. Even if we joke and give each other a hard time, our ultimate responsibility is to uplift each other.
Our goal is that you'll feel like you're part of the conversation, like you were in the studio with us, and that you feel encouraged after tuning in to our podcast. It's time to join the conversation.
All right. What an intro. I like that thing every time I hear it. Hey, everybody. It's Troy. I'm here with Matt and Chet Sears.
Matt Amos, he's not a Sears. It's
not Matt and Chet Sears. Right. That's right. Sergeant Matt Amos.
See how fast he disowns me?
And Pastor Sears. All right, we got a good show for you today. We're going to talk about what's on Matt's mind. We're going to go through our top 3 smoked meats. That could go anywhere.
It could.
And then, Chet, you're going to close us out with a good word.
That's right.
So, Mr. Amos, what's on your mind, sir?
Well, I was listening to the radio the other day, and for whatever reason, I was out of cell service, and so normally I just got my phone on. I've got my own music station that I've created that just kind of goes off of all the music that I have downloaded on my phone. Kind of a neat feature that I didn't know Apple did. But you can create your own little
playlist
and station, but it generates like songs for you to listen to. And so is
that Apple Radio? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It's just if you go to your music on the iPhone and you open it up and down below it says radio, you can or you can pick a song that you have and you can say create a radio station with it, and then it'll play like songs. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it also automatically does it for you. It'll do because mine will pick Troy's favorites and Troy's top songs. And
what do you do if it's not right?
I just skip it and put a thumbs down, and it never plays it again.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, and it gets to know you pretty well, and so it's like you can create a pretty good playlist while you're driving. Well, I was out of cell service, and
We're probably doing some kind of a psychological profile on you too, and you've shown up on some suspect.
Definitely,
we have to watch out for this guy,
and I'm okay with that. That's more than once.
He's very sus,
but very sus. That's another one of my top pet peeve annoying words.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why I said it.
But so I was out of cell service, and so I just had XM radio going because the antenna on my truck is broken, so I can't get any local stations. And as I'm sitting there listening, I'm like, what
station were you on?
Prime Country.
Oh, that's a problem.
Well,
I guess I'm going to predict what you're going to complain about. It all sucked.
Well, I'm not just talking about the lineup, because occasionally they'll play George Strait or somebody like that, somebody that can actually sing.
No, that would be pure country.
That is pure country.
Right. George Strait.
Phenomenal movie, by the way.
Yeah.
One of my top 3 country songs, Heartland. But so I was sitting there driving, listening to it, and in my truck, if I've got my phone plugged in, but I've got XM radio playing, I can't just change the station because then it does all this weird stuff. So I sat there and just suffered through it. I was like, well, maybe something good will come through. But I got there and I was just thinking, I was like, artists used to be able to sing better 20, 30, 40 years ago. Like where I think the talent has gone, and it's been gone since 1997. And
the day the music died?
I think 1997 is the day the music died.
Good one.
Because, that's more than 20 years ago.
Right.
Because I would say music, when you're with your comment, music was better 20, 30, 40 years ago. Just drop 20. Go 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I go along with that. And because what one of these songs was it was a live version of a song that I've heard thousands of times. And the live version, dude couldn't keep a note. There was, I mean, he was missing and I get live music's different, right? Because you're.
Was it an old artist that it was new?
No, it's a newer, he's a newer artist within the last 20 years.
Cause I read an article last week that, like people are wanting their money back, from Guns N' Roses. Cause Axl Rose can't sing anymore. Like he literally can't carry a tune in a bucket, and they're showing like videos.
Oh man.
And it's bad.
That's
people are like, well, I can't believe I paid for this. This is just play the tape. Like you should be lip syncing. It's that bad.
Matter of fact, I thought I should. Was that Milli Vanilli back in the day that did that?
Yes.
Was he the one that got caught? So
2 of them. There's brothers.
Yeah. But yeah, they got
Blame
caught.
it on the rain.
Blame it on the rain.
But either way, I was like, if I said the same thing. If I was at that concert, I'd want my money back.
Yeah.
I go, because this dude literally cannot sing. I was like, what? Why? And I said, why is that? Because 1997 was when autotune released.
So I don't disagree with you there, but I'll add to your theory. Two reasons.
Okay.
You today, and in the last 15, 20 years, you can get popular without having to perform live. You do everything in studio with your auto tune,
right?
All your stuff, and you put it out on the internet. So everything's edited. Everything's the best cut that you had. Everything is produced.
Right.
And you're not out there in a bar like at Ponchatoula's, you know.
Hey, Ponchatoula. I used to sing at Ponchatoula's.
That's what I'm saying.
Right on.
You're not out there refining
I could
your
carry
craft,
a tune.
building your audience.
Right.
Just saying.
Being upfront and honest with people. You're a production if you're doing everything digitally.
And that was my thing when I sat there and thought. I was like, they're going for people that will look good on a magazine cover, look good on a CD, or we don't even do CDs anymore, look good on an album cover, look good in magazine articles, take photos for whatever, music magazine or whatever. And I think that the music industry has gotten away from the true talent of an artist. And that they focused on all the other, how can we make money off this person, not how can we actually entertain people. And the music, when you sing it like that, the music can't mean to you what it meant to those people 30, 40 years ago that wrote those songs, and performed them. Because now there's a lot of people that are taking those songs, re-releasing them, putting their own little spin on it, using auto-tune to do it all, And so just, I don't know, at that drive home, I kept thinking about that. And I was like, we've kind of lost it. And I know there are some legitimate artists out there that are still performing, can sing. Matter of fact, Tessy Lou Williams is one of them. She can actually sing, and she can perform and does a good job at it, And so I think it's people like that should be getting the, and then like you made a comment when I brought this up, and you were playing devil's advocate or just being a turd.
I'm good at that. And
I mean, can you believe that his favorite musician is Bad Bunny?
That's disgusting.
I don't even know who that is.
I didn't either.
He does too. He's got it on. He's got it on his playlist.
I was with Stone and some of his friends, and Matt's like, "Oh, music," and I'm like, "Hey guys, like who's like really bad but's popular on singing?" And they're like, "Bad Bunny." And I said, "Bad Buddy?" And they're like, "No, Bunny." I'm like, you're gonna have to spell that.
Hippity hoppity.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of it. They don't come on the music I listen to.
Right.
So you should be on with Sirius. It's 80s on 8.
I've tried that. I'm not a big fan of that one either.
It's better than what you were listening to.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure it was. And you've got the what is it? Classic Country. That station's pretty good.
Willie's Roadhouse.
That one's good too.
Yeah.
But it was just, I was like, get me out of here, because I can't stand listening to these people.
Two summer vacations in a row that we were doing road trips. They had like Sirius was free. for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, sweet. The only 2 weeks I'm in a car this much, I don't have to pay for Sirius XM.
Nice.
Well, after that, I actually got upset that I was even paying for this radio.
Yeah.
And so I called them. I said, hey, I want to cancel because they don't let you cancel online.
Right. You have to
call.
talk to somebody.
And so I called and they're like, well, we can do, we'll drop it to $7 a month. I was like, yeah, for $7, I'll do it for $7.
They're going to do that for like 3 months and then it'll go back.
I got
and
it
then you'll call again.
I got it for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just word of advice out there, call Sirius XM and renegotiate your little contract there.
Yeah.
Threaten to cancel, they'll lower it for you.
Yeah.
But
so like today, what, Chris Stapleton?
he can sing.
Yeah. I mean, there's some people out there that can sing today.
Yeah. And I'm saying it's most artists,
Yeah.
that really can't.
I'm
Or maybe they could at one point and then they just lost it because they're like, oh, I got auto-tune to fix it. And then
there's a few diamonds in the rough amongst all of the people making music out there.
My big thing is, like if I'm listening to country music today and, I know I'm not, everybody doesn't agree with it, but if you have a machine playing the drums, I'm out.
Yeah. I'm with
Like
you.
if it's a machined beat, that's not why I'm tuning into country music channel.
Well, even like
not to listen to that.
even
stuff.
like rock music, when they try to use the symphony, but they're playing it on a keyboard,
Yeah.
man, I'm out.
Unless you're in the late 70s when the synthesizer was
Well,
new.
yeah, people still using it.
Yeah.
Like, but what I went
Troy,
to a
Troy in the basement on a little synthesizer.
I went to a
Big old
Skillet.
Axel F.
I went to see Skillet like 12 years ago,
Yeah.
and they have, violins and stuff in their music. Well, they had two violinists on stage playing those parts
Oh yeah. That's
and like
cool.
rocking out, and that was pretty awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm all for real live music, not
With real instruments, not the
Right,
drum
yeah.
kit.
keyboard stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, with certain like rap music or whatever, I understand. But like country, like really, like you can't find a drummer in Nashville anywhere.
They all have the same beat. It's that 2-step or 3-step beat.
Yep.
Every song, which is fine, but it's easy to play on the drums. But speaking of live music, I took my daughter a couple weeks ago to a performance called Xin Yun, and it's China Before Communism. And they had with this troupe of dancers that are professionally trained, an orchestra where they blended traditional Western symphony or orchestra instruments with Chinese instruments. And
That's cool.
that fusion was incredible. And it was a two hour show with a 15-minute break. So a total of 2 hours and 15 minutes. But that orchestra played for a solid hour and then another solid hour. Not one time did they miss a note. The dancers were on point timing wise with them the entire way. It was extremely impressive.
That's because they had people right off stage with guns going to shoot you if you messed up.
That's actually why they're there, is they're against that.
It's before communism.
Oh, okay.
Before.
Yeah, because they actually can't perform that show in China.
Yeah.
It's been banned. But it was really cool.
There's a pun there.
What?
The orchestra has been banned.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I saw.
Save that one for another episode for dad jokes, because that was pretty bad.
I did a video at a concert there with the orchestra and Caroline Campbell. She's a professional violinist.
Yeah, seen that.
Yeah, she's incredible. That was a good show. There was no
No auto-tune.
no auto tune or
violin.
no. She wasn't playing the keyboard, man. She was ripping that violin. It was amazing.
Well, and they had in addition to that, they had one guy that came out and he was a bassist and sang basically like a kind of an opera.
A bass vocalist?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I thought he came out with a bass.
Not a bass guitar.
not a bass guitarist, a bassist, right? I think that's what they call them. But I don't know. I'm not a professional
music namer.
orchestra goer, but I do enjoy him. But he got up there and sang in Chinese, and incredible. I mean, and this dude didn't miss a note. And for as short as he was, he had a super deep voice. It was pretty awesome to watch. Country music could take a note out of that book, because that I want to say that song was I want to say it was Jason Aldean that was just terrible, that I heard live. And I've seen him live a couple of times, but the music's so loud that you can hardly hear his music anyway.
Yeah.
Flyover States is I think is what he was singing, but kind of disappointing that I wouldn't go.
Well, there's a lot. They're good entertainers. I mean, but you're talking from a singing perspective. They're probably heavier on the entertaining than they are on the vocal.
I think it's gone that way. I mean, Toby Keith was, I think, one of the first that went with a huge show like that, but
it'd be Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks, yeah. I guess, but Garth Brooks can sing.
Yeah.
So he can back it up, but he puts on an incredible show, running back and forth and up and down, and can still swing while he's, sing while he's swinging on ropes and out of breath.
Did you see the Garthquake?
Mm-hmm. I did not. Hear
about that?
Yeah.
Oh, what's that?
So he's going on a stadium tour right now.
Right.
So
I knew that.
Yeah. Coming through Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
So he set up, he invited the students of LSU out to a sound check on the Friday night. And then on Saturday, it was at the beginning of May, just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
On the concert night. So this is in Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
Which seats for football seats 111, 108,
sure,
112,000. I don't know. Over 100,000 people just in the stadium. And of course, his stage was set up, about from the 30-yard line all the way to the end of one of them. And then they had floor seats out on the field. So I'm assuming 120, 125,000 people there. Well, when they played Callin' Baton Rouge, it measured on the Richter scale.
Oh, nice.
Which goes back to a game, I can't remember. I think they were playing Florida, like in the 90s, 80s. I can't remember all the history here, but they had a football game where they scored a touchdown to win the game, and then the
Richter scale
geology department saw the tremors. Well, same thing happened when they started singing Callin' Baton Rouge.
Wow. That's pretty fun. Yeah, speaking of Garth Brooks, I was on Shuffle, and a band called All That Remains.
I've heard of it.
Song came on. They're like a metal band. Song came on. Thunder Rolls. They were remaking Garth Brooks.
Oh yeah,
terrible. I had to change it.
Well, I'll tell you something terrible. And we'll have to do it off the.
Stop remaking songs. Just come up with your own stuff.
Callin' Baton Rouge is a remade song.
Yeah, I actually knew that.
Yeah,
I don't remember who did the first one.
Do you know? Did you know that?
Oh, I knew it was a remake, but I don't know.
Yeah, well, there's a guy that did good, a bluegrass guy. I can't remember his name. And you're like, oh, I could see how that bluegrass. He took that and kind of made it into modern country. No, the bluegrass people remade it. It was originally released by the Oak Ridge Boys.
Oak Ridge Boys.
It is horrible. Like it is bad. So bad.
So it was a good remake, you're saying?
Yeah. So sometimes remakes are like, oh, you had a good idea here, but we're going to...
Well, I mean, that's kind of like we're
going to tweak it.
Sound of Silence by, who did that, Disturbed?
Yeah.
That remake was excellent.
Honestly, I mean, I will say there are some good remakes in the music industry, but in the film and TV industry, can we just come up with some new ideas, please?
Yeah, good grief. Like quit doing sequels.
Yeah.
Let's just be done.
No more. Anyway,
I'm with it. That's a whole other podcast.
But anyway, I mean, I didn't have much. That was just my complaint as I was driving back and said, this guy sucks.
You need to get your antenna fixed.
I do need to get my antenna fixed.
That'll fix the problem
right
there.
Idea. I don't know if I've talked to you guys about this before, but I have an idea for Sirius XM, copyright Hardheaded podcast. They can't run with this. I've talked to my attorneys already.
Oh, okay, good.
Really don't know.
I do. Yeah.
They need a station. It's satellite, right? They need one station called States.
Yeah.
And then whatever state you're in, it only plays music
from
that mentions
that
state or a city in that state or maybe a region of that country.
Rhode Island's got 2 songs on repeat.
Yeah, I mean, heck, Kansas doesn't have that much, but if you think about...
David Crowder starts out a song saying, come on, Wichita.
Yeah, but I mean, there's Seven Nation Army. There's
Seven Nation Army.
The Avett
Wichita,
Brothers have a song called Salina.
Salina.
Yeah. So I mean,
the song that I listened to that upset me and caused me to have what's on my mind has Kansas in it.
Oh,
because it's a flyover state, which is the name of the song.
Oh, okay. That's where it all started. But anyway, I think that'd be great. Like as soon as you're on satellite. So as soon as you cross the state line, like boom.
You should do a Kansas songs playlist for our listeners on Spotify. You just named 4 of them.
That's
right there.
all of them. I can't think of another one.
All right, those 4.
Well, we could do Wayward Son.
Because it's by Kansas?
Yeah.
The band named Kansas?
Yeah, it has Kansas in it.
Well,
By Kansas. That's in it.
by Kansas.
I don't know. Nah, there's just not much. No offense, Kansas, but coming from a culturally rich state of Louisiana that has its own food, cuisine, its own type of music, Zydeco. It's got a lot of culture and a lot of people sing about it. And we're here in Kansas. It's not much. Not much at all. There needs to be more because Kansas is a great place. I think you should be writing music about Kansas, Matt.
Yeah, if I had any way that I knew to write song, because I can write and I can rhyme, but I don't know how to put that to music. So
Rhyme with orange.
I forget how Eminem did it.
Yeah, that was good. Orange. You got to break it.
Separate it up in 3 words.
Yeah,
3 syllables.
Yeah, that's how he did it. That was pretty cool.
Orange.
Orange. Syringe.
You would think syringe.
That's what he thought, I think. Yeah, whatever. All right. Well, thanks for bringing us what is on your mind, Matt. We're going to take a quick break and then jump into the top 3 smoked meats.
1783, the first victory. Victorious in war, this year sees America earn her independence. At Admiral's Pennant, we celebrate victories at the end of war. 1783 is the first of many such celebrations in our nation's history. This is an elegantly refined blend of sandalwood, cedar, and tea tree. The subtle, lingering, woody scent of the sandalwood, light cedar, and the top notes of tea tree is the essence of masculinity, honoring the men who fought and continue to fight to provide us our independence.
Check it out at admiralspennant.com. Without it, you might as well shave.
And we're back.
All right. Top 3 smoked meats. Now, is this barbecue, just throwing it in the smoker? Like, what are there parameters to this thing?
Well,
it has to be smoked
and
a meat.
All right. I'm ready.
Because people barbecue is just too broad. Like people use that way too liberally, in my opinion.
Okay.
Like I say, I want to grill some burgers. You go to another part of the country, let's have a barbecue. Oh,
sweet burgers and dogs.
Like no, that's not what I said.
Not a
We're gonna have that's a cookout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Or a grill. We're gonna grill.
Yeah, we're gonna do some grilling. We're gonna throw some dogs and burgers on.
Yep. All right. Well, Chet, what you got?
So I'm gonna go with an honorable mention. Matt's summer sausage.
That is a smoked meat. Yeah.
Yes.
Made the board there, Matt.
I did, of course.
It's good. It's real
really
good. Yep. Number 3, ribs. And when I say ribs,
I like ribs.
it's not what you're thinking about right now. Well, it may be. They're dry. They don't need to be sauced up. They don't need to be lathered and all this. Just give me
simple
some
dry rub.
Smoked ribs.
You know, I went like 7 years without eating ribs because I ate a bad rib at Old Hickory Stick in Shreveport.
Yeah.
Got sick on them. I don't know. It could have been something else, but I had a lot of ribs that day.
Yeah.
I love ribs. It took me 7 years.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, a puking event can change your life.
Oh, yeah, it did.
Yep.
I've had that experience with ribs and deep fried mushrooms.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah.
I had that experience on, I chaperoned a band trip when Stone was in middle school. And
good times.
On the way back, I got a hold of something that was bad. We had to like make our meal out of just like a gas station because there's a confusion thing. So we had to eat. Been at the theme park all day. I was up all night puking. So, which was going back to my last. I got a streak going since then. Well, email came out, back in April, because my youngest is now in middle school and it's time for the middle school band trip to Worlds of Fun. And I was like, band trip to Worlds of Fun. I'm not doing that. Count me out. Don't even go with the food. It's the event. I wrote that off. I'm not doing it. Can't handle it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So anyway, ribs, dry, and if you're in Wichita.
Now, is it a dry rub you put on it, or?
Yeah. Seasoned.
Right.
Yeah, but not
lathered
not
and
sauced.
not dripping with sauce.
Typically sauced up, they're hiding the fact that it's a dry rib.
Right.
Like they didn't do them right. Or
that's just their assumption that they can't do it right, so they always just put sauce. That's just what people do. Like if you go on on YouTube and you're like, hey, I want to cook ribs, 99% of them are going to show you how to do it with wet sauce. And I like my smoked meats without barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
Like that's just how I am.
And I'm the same way because most barbecue sauces are sweet and I don't like sweet on meat.
Right.
I just don't.
Yeah. Number 2, down home sausage.
Yep.
Made in Stonewall, Louisiana.
That's good stuff.
It doesn't get any better than that. Love it. It's awesome. I like their green chilies, probably my favorite.
We need to go duck hunting down
there.
the
green onion.
This fall. Pick some of this stuff up.
That would be good. I'm a fan. It's expensive though.
We're looking for a flooded timber hunt. Anybody out there?
Anybody out there in Louisiana?
Anybody out there needs the Hardheaded boys to come hunt with you. We're coming.
And then number 1, brisket, but it's got to be mine. Like I love my brisket when I get it right.
Yeah,
you do cook a mean brisket. Yeah, it's
and good. I've done some that are bad. I mean, it's still that's why I've got the pork butts down to a science. Like I handed you the formula, and you could recreate it. Brisket, I'm not there yet. It's still more of an art for me. But if I'm at a barbecue place, and I meant to go back to the rib deal. If you're in Wichita, it's when pigs fly.
Oh yeah,
best ribs in Wichita, in my opinion. Other people may cook good ribs, but they're soaking wet when you get them. Like I don't want that. So when pigs fly does really good.
They do a good rib, and then so does Rib Crib, but you've got to go to the one in Derby.
Yeah,
because they're dry. It's a dry rub and tender. I don't think I've had terrible ribs there ever.
Yeah. So, but yeah, brisket number 1. I like other people's brisket, but I typically never order that in a restaurant because there's so much variation. Even in the same brisket, right? I mean, if you get the flat or if you get, the
moist
the
or lean, lean cut or moist cut.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would say if I would, brisket, but I'd like mine. And again, it's not sauced.
Yep.
Those are my top 3.
Good deal. All right, I'll go next. Number 3, burnt ends. Those are delicious. And I don't like them drowning in sauce either. I like them just cooked to taste the flavor of the meat.
I like them too, and that's what we'll do like with some of the leftovers on the brisket. And I'll normally heat those up with a little bit of sauce on it.
Yeah.
Make it
it's good
tacky.
To add your own sauce.
Yeah.
Not have them come with sauce.
Yep.
So, and I'll just say all 3 of these I like coming from either home cooked or from When Pigs Fly.
Yeah.
It's my favorite barbecue place in Wichita.
I think they're just the best. I mean, all around.
Yeah.
Their sides, they have Zapp's potato chips, for goodness sake. Like they make good decisions even on stuff they don't cook.
That's right.
Yeah, they're actually the ones that converted me back because I took a long hiatus from baked beans, and they're the ones that brought me back on their baked beans.
Yeah. Their baked beans aren't just one bean. It's a variety of beans.
Yeah.
And yeah. It's pretty good.
Best in Wichita. Nowhere near as good as BBQ City from Ruston, Louisiana. Those beans change your life.
Yeah.
I mean, their barbecue is great. I took a buddy of mine, Terry. We were driving through on our way to Georgia for some reason. And he's like, "Oh, we're gonna get something to eat." I'm like, "Well, we're gonna stop in Ruston, and get barbecue." He's like, "Well, we can't. We got to get something we could eat on the road. We're not stopping and going to eat." I'm like, "That's fine. They have a drive-through. We'll be all right." So we get some whatever. I don't know what we're eating, but something we could eat while we're driving, and cruising on down the road. I don't know, we're 20, 30 minutes in, and he's like, my gosh, those are the best beans I ever had in my life. I'm like, man, you hadn't been eating for like 20 minutes. You've been done. He's like, I just been thinking about them beans the whole time. He's like, those are the best beans I've ever had. And sure enough, when we were coming back through, like at the end of the week, he
like,
stopped
let's go.
and he bought like
a couple of quarts.
Yeah. He's like, give me 3 of those. Like, I need to take some of these beans back. They're awesome.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
where was that again for our listeners?
Well, it's called Hot Rods now in Ruston, Louisiana. Back then it was called BBQ City, which we refer to it as the city. And you can get a 2-meat plate for $6.20 back when I was in college.
Not anymore. Probably
13, 14.
Yeah, 15, 20.
But the cool thing about that was, we've had to have talked about this before.
I'm sure we have.
The dude, Big Marcus, they had, you go up and order your food. Like, this is my meat.
With the toe, he give you the extra toast. Yeah.
He'd pull it out and like cut it in front of you and then hand you the plate, and you got to serve your own beans and potato salad. They had coleslaw, but I never got it. So as a college student, you have a spoon and a big pot of beans and potato salad, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to test the structural integrity of this styrofoam 3-slot plate.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you can get that's the only meal you needed that day.
Yeah, nice. All right, number 2 for me is sausage, smoked sausage, and then number 1, pulled pork. Hands down, the best. When pigs fly, pulled pork. Probably the best I've ever had. Even better than any place I've ever had in Louisiana. So good.
Go back to your smoked sausage, like the jalapeno type stuff you get at restaurants, or like your Johnsonville or your Eckrich.
I'm not real picky.
Yeah.
I don't like Aldi brand.
I've never had Aldi.
It's not good.
Yeah.
But yeah, just regular smoked sausage.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm a fan.
Not too picky. I like hot links too.
Yeah, it's a different animal.
Right. But just regular old smoked sausage.
Yeah, I don't like how fine hot links are. It's too hot doggish for me.
Yeah. They're usually a bit more spicy depending on.
Yeah.
I like hot links.
Yeah. All right, what you got, Matt?
All right, number 3, hot links.
Nice.
The spicier, the better. I really like those, and I could go either way.
Like the pink ones, like the big round pink hot links.
Yeah, they kind of look like a cut of andouille sausage on your plate.
Andouille sausage is rough.
When they slice it though, the way they slice it.
Oh, okay.
So you kind of get those elongated.
Right, they slice it
ovals
at a 45-degree angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like those. And you're right. It is kind of a hot doggish texture, but if they smoke it right and the flavor's right.
Did you know about hot links before you moved up here?
Yeah.
I didn't. Like I didn't.
Well, didn't they used to serve them at? They had a hot links option at Hickory Stick.
I didn't go to Hickory Stick.
We always went to Hickory Stick.
You grew up there. I just moved there after college.
Right there off Uri Drive, Southfield and Uri.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not adventurous when I order barbecue. I typically get the same stuff because I know what I like.
Yeah.
But anyway, up here it was like hot links everywhere, and sausage wasn't. Like it's hard to find smoked sausage at a barbecue joint in Wichita.
Yeah.
And if you do, it's going to be that German something with jalapenos in it or whatever. It's never just plain
regular smoked sausage. Yeah.
But what hit me right out of the gate was how fine it was, like a hot dog. And I'm like, well, this needs to be on a bun, or it shouldn't be just by itself.
I would contend that most of the hot links that I get are like the consistency of Down Home.
No, I've never seen it.
The casing is thicker.
Yeah.
On a hot link?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Well, because Down Home's natural.
Yeah.
But
it's natural casing.
But I would swap it out if you had, if I had the ability to get Down Home.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That would be right there and take this spot.
Yeah.
I'm with you. That's not reasonable.
I'm not shunning you for hot links.
Number 2, pulled pork. And I'm kind of like Chet now that I've got his layout of how he does it. I've got my own way that I do it. I really don't like anybody, or I don't like a store-bought
pulled
pork anymore. I'd rather put the time in, do it myself, and season it all up. I do need some more Cattleman's tri-tip seasoning, by the way. I'm completely
When you
out.
mean store-bought, you mean like...
At a restaurant.
At a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, like there's some places here, and I'm the same way. I hate sauce on any of my stuff, and there's some places that automatically...
If you don't have it, it's horrible, but if you buy it, they put it on it for you.
Yeah.
Barbecue sauce, if I, you know, it's against the law for somebody to put that on something for you, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. It should be in a tub at the end of the buffet.
It's a cardinal,
waiting
it's the cardinal
for you.
sin of barbecue.
Right.
Is to sauce somebody else's stuff.
Yeah, you
like, because you don't know how much I want.
You don't double dip in salsa. You don't sauce somebody's meat.
No, you don't.
Back off.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
That should be a t-shirt. Don't sauce my meat.
Yes.
Or an
I like
episode
it.
title.
Yeah, there you go. Don't sauce my meat.
Don't sauce my meat. Just sauce on my meat.
But I mean, I can go through now and make that pulled pork, and it's just, I mean, fall off the bone so tender. It's incredible. And then the bark, even on the even on a Traeger, smoker, because I always had issues getting a really nice bark like you do with a standard stick burner. But I've learned to overcome that a little bit.
Yeah.
And how to modify even what your recipe was to get that bark even better.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's probably really good on mine because I have a Yoder.
I mean,
Here we go.
it's 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other, but that's number 2. Number 1, I'm right on board with you. Sliced brisket. And, again, no sauce on that, but that's how I gauge a barbecue place's merit the first time I go, is I try their brisket, because that's one of the easiest things to do, but it's also easy to mess up. And if you're going to mess that one up, then I can't trust you with any of the other stuff.
I think it's easy on I'm cooking a brisket scale, but if you're mass producing, I think Franklin down in Austin, Franklin Barbecue, like they have it figured out, and it's a science. They have it, you wrap at this time, at this temperature, you do this and whatever else. But I've never been blown away by a barbecue restaurant's brisket.
There used to be a place here in town, and I used to go all the time. It was called Julius Ribcage, and it was down on South Seneca. And it was incredible brisket, and whatever dry rub they had sprinkled over the top. And then when they laid your slices out, they kind of overlapped them a little bit and then put a little of dusted it. Oh, it was so good. And then I went one time and it was not good at all. Like the cut of meat was just terrible. I was like, well, maybe whatever. I mean, it's always been good. I'll forgive him this one time. I went again, same thing,
It's gone.
and just nosedive.
And then they closed.
Change ownership or something?
They probably did. I think they
Yeah.
sold because they were getting so popular. But no, I think it's still there.
Yeah.
But I haven't been back. But they used to have the best brisket. But that's how I do it. It's kind of like when I go to a Mexican food joint for the first time, I'll do the carne asada, because if they mess that up, they're not going to do anything else right. So,
yeah, that's what I do at a Cajun restaurant is I order a po' boy.
po' boy.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
how I knew red beans here was fake.
Yeah.
When I came to Wichita, I ordered a po' boy and it came out on like a blimpie roll. What is this?
What is this? Can I have my money
bread
back
matters.
now?
What about the po' boy from Po' Boys?
That's a sandwich. It's not a po' boy.
Yeah.
That's just like a sub sandwich.
But you liked it.
It was a good sandwich, but hey, it's not a po' boy. And I'm not going to shun that place because they're there for the pizza roll. I've never seen anybody order anything other than a pizza roll.
Yeah, you made that mistake when you went in there and ordered a po' boy from Po' Boy's Pizza.
That's funny.
Good time. That rounds out my top 3. Brisket. And I do like my own as well, but
Yeah.
I typically just buy the flat and do the flat. I don't do a whole one.
That's my favorite is the point, man. Flat. I give everybody else the flat.
That's my, well, shoot, we can, You cook a whole one, I'll take the flat.
You buy it, I'll cook it. Because good grief.
Yeah, I don't want to do
beef is
that.
expensive right now.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
So I went to a golf tournament the other Monday night, and afterwards they had a barbecue buffet, and one of the ladies it was a Trinity Classic where my kids go to school, and it was a fundraiser for them. Well, she cooks for all the fundraisers that school puts on.
Yeah.
And man, it was incredible. They had brisket, pulled pork, then she had like a it wasn't mashed potatoes, it was like hash brown potato casserole deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then she had like chocolate pie, peanut butter pie, apple pie. But I was so hungry after playing golf all day. I piled my plate up. I mean, I think everybody was.
Yeah.
And I woke up 3 times last night with the meat sweats and just had high blood pressure going to sleep.
That was
it was worth it.
Chinese restaurant syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
That was
They had a bunch
all
of
the
MSG up in there.
that was home cooked
Yeah.
barbecue buffet syndrome is what that was.
So how'd you shoot at the golf deal?
We shot a 60.
That's shady. How many mulligans and
We
par is your
used-
best friend and all this stuff?
We used 2 mulligans
Yeah.
worked out for us. We as a team we had 5,
Yeah.
but we came in 13th place.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those.
I mean, first place was 2 teams tied for first at 53,
Yeah.
and then there was a 55, and then a 56. A couple people had 58. 3 teams had 59,
Yeah.
and then we came in right around 13th.
They use any of your balls?
Yeah, we used a couple of mine,
Yeah.
a couple of Josh's, a couple of Kyle's, a couple of Mark's. Yeah.
I had we played in the Wichita Children's Home fundraiser, one of my old jobs every year, and they had a deal. Woody Austin, the local PGA tournament guy,
Yeah.
he's retired or whatever now, but he was active on the PGA Tour, Ryder Cup team, all that kind of stuff back in the day, and he would one of the holes he would play with your team on a par 3. So he just camped out at that par 3 all day,
that's fun.
and you
Yeah.
pay $20 extra, and he'd play as a member of your team, and you could use his ball if it's better or whatever. And I was having one of my most horrible rounds of golf ever, and we'd played about 3/4 of the course already, and got to him, and I don't think we'd used one of my balls yet. Like it was
That
bad.
bad,
It was that
huh?
bad.
Yeah.
And we get up there, and Woody's with us, and we all get tee off ahead of him. And one of the guys hits off into the water, another guy hits off into the water, another guy shanks it, and I hit. And Woody, he's seen however many golf shots in his life, let alone that hole that day. As soon as it leaves my club, he's like, "Oh, that's going to hit right in the middle of the green. It'll probably roll off the back, but it'll be in the fringe." And sure enough, hit dead center of the green, rolled off a little bit to the back, and then he tees off, and naturally he's like 12 feet from the hole.
Yeah.
We get up there, they putt, miss, putt, miss, putt, miss. I get up there and putt, make it, and then we're good. We're in for a birdie from where Woody was. Right?
Yeah,
Woody's
he's 12
shot.
foot. Yeah.
And then as we're walking away and he's getting in the golf cart, riding back up to tee off with the next group, I was like, "Guys, I'm the worst golfer out of the 4 of us, and we all know it, but Woody Austin thinks I'm the best." like I'm better than you guys. Just shanking them into the water, and I'm hitting the green.
It was just the pressure of him being there for your buddies.
I don't know, but I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Really funny.
Cool, man. Well, you got a good word for us, Chet?
I do. We're still in the chosen book on day number 19, lesson number 19, coming out of John chapter 6, verse 35. And this is coming on the tail end, kind of a sequential of some of the things we've been talking about on Jesus feeding the 5,000 with the, multiplying the bread and the fish.
Right.
And Jesus goes and says that he declared, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never go hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty." What was happening out of the compassion that he had, people being around and hungry, he fed them, and that attracted more people to show up because we knew that all those people were there in the first place, the big crowd, because of what he was saying, and then now they're actually physically benefiting from it by getting fed.
Mm-hmm.
So could you imagine how many more people showed up? Like, I don't know about that whole prophet guy or what else going on there, but I can get a free meal out of this. I can get some barbecue after the tournament. I want to go play in that tournament. You know, that barbecue's
Right.
free. Yeah, I'll be there for that. So people started showing up, and then he actually tried, you know, went across the lake, got in the boat, went across. People showed up over there. And what this is talking about is what he's saying is like, look, don't show up for what I could feed you. Like, I am what you should be here for. I'm the bread of life. Don't think that what I'm capable of performing that could benefit you for food is why you should be coming to see me. You know, and a lot of times, and I've seen this, I've been around the church my whole life. A lot of people will show up because people are compassionate, because people are loving, they care. And then after a little while, they just get tired and go on. Because, you know, one interpretation would be because they were showing up because things were good for them. They were easy for them for a short time, or the people they were around were very giving. But ultimately, the why we are like that is because of Jesus himself, and not because of what miracles or what support or what, you know, financial or prayer support that you can get, or just an emotional support, a shoulder to cry on, or somebody to help. That's not why the whole purpose of the church. The whole purpose of the church is to lead people to Jesus and have them fully surrender to him.
Right.
And that's what he's saying in this case is, look, you may have showed up for bread, but let me tell you, I'm the bread of life. Like, so don't come around for me providing for your needs. Just understand that you can participate in me as the bread of life and never hunger again. Like, it's not just show up and I can feed you for a day, but if you follow me, I could be the bread of life for you.
Yeah, that's good. It's also kind of like in our day and time after Jesus, you know, resurrection, a lot of people come to Christianity or whatever wanting to go to heaven.
Yeah.
Right. I want to go to heaven. You know, I don't want to go to hell. If there's heaven and hell, then I definitely want to go to heaven.
Right.
But really, heaven is being with Jesus. So I don't know. Sometimes when people figure that out, like, oh, well, it's just being with Jesus, and
yeah,
well, I want to go to heaven. I don't really.
I just don't want to go to hell. Yeah.
Right. I don't want to go to hell. But yeah, sure, if Jesus is there, cool. But like, no, the ultimate prize is Jesus. It just happens to be in heaven because that's what he created. And yeah. So interesting.
Good deal.
Good word. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, folks, to another episode.
Hey. Before we go.
Yeah, what you got?
Next week, we've got an author coming in to talk about his book, The First 20 Years, The Story of a Louisiana Turkey Hunter. Good buddy of mine from back home has a turkey hunting book. It's pretty awesome. We're going to have Jody Stokes in next week talk about it.
Sounds good. So y'all be listening for that. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.